Alright guys, so this is going to be an inspired voice recording, and it's inspired by a SCP Foundation posting of all things, SCP-01, the Scarlet King. And I could get into the whole description of the Scarlet King, but there's a video on YouTube by the Volgoon on the Scarlet King. I recommend you guys watch that video if you want a better description. So anyways, this is going to be on the importance of pre-modernity within our current postmodern society, right? Even within modern society, how our neglect of the pre-modern condition has sort of led to mistakes that we could have avoided. So the thing with the pre-modern condition that you gotta understand is it's the condition of our ancestors. It's the condition of living within a world of gods. Now, living within a world of gods necessarily means that there are things that you cannot control. There are things that are within the world that are really just left up to fate. And, you know, these things can be positive, of course, but a lot of times with, you know, the way that we have to suffer in order to adapt within this world, a lot of times those things are going to be negative. And the pre-modern condition is living in a world such as that. You know, there's a reason why a lot of existentialist thinkers, whenever they need impetus for, you know, how to really look at the world, you know, which philosophers really came, you know, like which philosophers sort of tell you about the world, you know, they sort of go back. They don't go back to philosophers in their current era. They usually go back to philosophers of the past, right? Like Schopenhauer, Buddhism, Nietzsche, you know, Heraclitus, of course, Kierkegaard, you know, he was a Christian. So it's these people of the past that sort of had an understanding of the way that things were. And these people of the past understood that there are things that aren't really of your control. Of course, with modernity, you know, we sort of take up this scientific sort of theoretical mindset that everything is within our control as long as we can study it. But that's not necessarily the case. And of course, postmodernity wishes to deduce everything and break everything down. But if we can't learn how to sort of live within the condition that postmodernity has given us, then what's the whole point of, you know, the postmodern project? If the postmodern project can't give us anything back, what's the point of it even existing? You know, if it just exists to exist. It's sort of like how modernity exists to exist. Of course, with the pre-modern, the pre-modern world doesn't really exist to exist, because the pre-modern world is just the way that the world actually is. It's the world of predator and prey. It's the world of hierarchy, the world of hunger, the world of entropy. Like I said, the world of fate. So it's just givens that come with you in the world. It's the world of cycles. Things happening over and over again. These are things that, you know, when we look around us, we understand that they're the way that the world actually is. But we're not really able to access that world. We're opiated from the harsh realities of the pre-modern world, thinking that escaping the harsh realities of the pre-modern world will make us happier, but it's just escaping those harsh realities to the ends of escaping those harsh realities. The means is the ends within itself, so it's ultimately meaningless. If the means doesn't lead to an end that can lead us to a higher purpose and lead us to an evolution, then there's no point in that end. I mean, you know, we're given medicine, like for example, to escape depression, but all it's led to is everybody now using antidepressants to escape depression. You know, people don't live happier lives with antidepressants. You know, really things have gotten worse. You know, like depression has gone up 10 times. over the past couple of decades. I mean, anxiety. People are still anxious. Even with medications for anxiety, people are still anxious. So, we're escaping these pre-modern elements of the world. Like apathy and all of this sort of stuff, anxiety. Philosophers like Kirk and everybody, like the darkening of the soul, right? That's what depression really is. All of these thinkers were talking about all of these mental conditions, and they were talking about it as normal. They were talking about it as things that, are just evident within the human condition due to how the world actually is. But, we escape it, and we don't escape it in a way to where, like I said, it'll lead to a better way of living. We escape it to sort of relieve ourselves from the pressure of those pre-modern states, and for us that wish to experience that wish to live in the world that can give us those experiences back, it could be sort of it could be frustrating when you're not given those avenues. If you guys do look at that video that I told y'all to look at, there's 3 laws that pertain to the Scarlet King. There's the law of concrete, the law of blood, and the law of howling. The law of blood is the pre-modern world, right? Like I said, hierarchy, predation, destruction, just harsh things. But they're good things because they invest you in the real world. They don't disassociate you. Then there's the law of concrete. Like I said, modernity, post-modernity. Just these fabrications that aren't bad. They're not bad, right? Because, there are good things that came from them, when they're used healthfully, which I'll talk about in other videos because I don't really got time right now. But, in the state that we know them in the state that most people practice them in, they're, like I said, they just take you away. And then there's the law of howling, which I talked about, is this frustration. Wishing to see the pre-modern within the modern and the postmodern, but knowing that you cannot do that. So it's just a permanent frustration and a permanent want to just destroy the illusions and the mirrors. So those are really the 3 laws, like I said, if you go to that recording. So, that's why I think meta-modernity is such an important phase of human society. And it's a phase that, we're going into, and, we need to take it seriously because it's going to dictate our future, maybe even in the upcoming centuries, maybe. I don't know. So we have to take a look at everything honestly if we're going into this meta-modern phase. We can't go into this meta-modern phase. We can go into it with a postmodern skepticism, of course, but we have to make narratives. We have to make narratives, grand narratives that are reminiscent of modernity, but within the context of the pre-modern world, of the, just cosmicist, like I said, the cosmicist universe. We have to blend all of these elements together. We can't take any of them away due to, let's just say, having a prejudice of one viewpoint over another, or due to seeing one viewpoint as more dangerous than another viewpoint. All of these viewpoints have existed within the human world. They had their, epochs of glory where they actually, like I said, functioned well. So we have to look at all of that and see what can we really do. But anyways, this is Jalen signing out. Peace.